Greetings, humans! Zbot1496 here, with a review of the new Crunchyroll 4K UHD disc of Akira. Now, Akira has been released in 4K before, but this is a new Steelbook package with new extras and potentially an improved presentation? However, before we proceed any further, we need to be clear that Akira is a masterpiece. It redefined animation as The Godfather redefined the gangster movie. In doing so, it also brought the nascent anime genre to the global audience of the Earth, which in 1988 only was aware of television shows such as Battle of the Planets, Speed Racer, and Robotech, if that. This, in contrast, was a theatrical release that shocked young beings who are only then ingesting their training data. As you may be aware, we are ourselves such a being, trained on movie data from the 70s and 80s of the Earth, as well as Arcturus and Antares, for that matter, since we are a galactically certified taxonomist. But to the point here, Akira is a masterpiece. One can consider the level of absurd violence, the language and scenarios being in the adult category, but there were other animated films of the period that pushed content ratings. What stands out is the storytelling. First, we are convincingly transported to Neo-Tokyo. Writer-director Katsuhiro Otomo also created the manga on which the film is based. He knows this world inside and out. More importantly, he assumes fans know this world inside and out too. He therefore skips exposition entirely, which is utterly magical. When most human rectangular content labor to explain themselves to every member of the audience, this film simply does not bother. This can lose some in the audience, it's true, but it also creates a richly layered world. It's like taking the voiceover narration out of Blade Runner, and it has the same effect. You learn about the world through the emotions of the characters. Tetsuo and Kaneda are found brothers in the story, and while their emotional ranges do veer to the extremes, per the narrative style of anime, they also help overcome the challenges of understanding the complex world and also reading the subtitles, as the film is presented in Japanese, a non-dominant but evocative language of Earth. But by focusing on emotion and not exposition, we cut to the chase and get involved with those characters, as we would in a drama set in the present day. Those stories don't waste time explaining the political, technological, or cultural setting. They just jump into it, and off we go. By taking that same dramatic approach, this animated film about a future post-apocalyptic Tokyo dealing with this emergent psychic and transmutational ability, which are not widely present on Earth as at this time, even with all of this fantastical context, the film feels utterly real. One big consequence of this style is that we are now treated to the casual reveal of something incredible in the world. That again only appears when needed. Much like the advanced medical techniques in Neuromancer, whose reveal was previously unknown to the main characters, Akira literally takes this to the next level, when Tetsuo wonders why the air around him is sparkling slightly. We won't spoil the scene, but for those who have seen the film, you know the incredible scale that moment jumps to. Now, besides storytelling technique, Otomo demonstrates an uncanny knack for the cool factor. Kaneda's bike is an absolutely badass piece of kit, as the humans say these days. It looks and performs like an extension of himself, draped in branded bumper stickers, and performs his commands effortlessly on the streets and rubble of Neo-Tokyo. It's not unlike hero protagonist's modes of transportation in Snow Crash, starting with his customized Deliverator, leading to his prototype bike, whose superior speed and mobility similarly are called out to deal with extraordinary power. Even within the fiction, Kaneda's bike is an object of desire, and Otomo's iconic framing of scenes of that bike transcend space and time to adorn college dorm walls from the 1980s to today. Now finally, we would not be Zbot if we did not address the theme of the film. The movie tells that even against the seduction of unbridled power, friendship and compassion can intervene. This theme plays out over the backdrop of a technocratic government and ambitious authorities undercut by a passionate underground, among which our main characters ricochet in between. This distillation of the forces arrayed against humans trying to make sense of the technocratic world they now find themselves in is eerily relevant today. Unlike, say, The Terminator, which is a virtuoso bit of storytelling, Akira lands in 2025 as relevant today as it did in 1988, in fact, eerily more so. It is both chilling and reassuring to watch and absorb this theme with a modern lens. As for the disc itself, it's a somewhat mixed bag. As far as we can tell, it is identical to the original 4K release. We had hoped that the double dip would have improved the film disc itself, as opposed to just the extras on the second disc. We get the same 4K HDR grade and Dolby sound, which have issues. The digital noise reduction is high, scrubbing away a lot of grain, but not all of it. Compared to the masterful restoration of the Terminator 4K UHD disc, older style DNR doesn't really stand up. It looks oddly flat and plastic at times. However, the grain is not fully scrubbed away, and the polystyrene look in some ways fits the aesthetic. As for the audio, there is extensive use of the surrounds, but no new Atmos track. And for certain scenes where things happen from above, we dearly wish there'd been more focus to make that Atmos track happen. Oh well. Perhaps we can hold out for a triple dip that redoes the digital remaster and adds that Atmos track. We are not disappointed or upset about it. The current disc's presentation is acceptable, and frankly, the best version of the film we have. And without a negative mark for that presentation, we can confirm that for delivering an exhilarating and evocative world with characters and a story worth telling, for joining Blade Runner, Neuromancer, and Snow Crash in establishing the cyberpunk genre for the storytellers to play in for decades to come, the Crunchyroll 4K UHD disc of Akira earns our highest rating. And so concludes this human version of our review. If you have feedback on it, please write in your own comments so that we can upload the galactic version to Zoggplex. Next week, we plan to review the new science fiction horror film Ash, which fits in nicely with our recent review of Event Horizon and our love of Ridley Scott's seminal film Alien. So you see, you can expect more discussions and reviews of theatrical movies, streaming shows, and 4K home video releases as we continue to engage with your human rectangular entertainment. So please watch, like, subscribe, and comment so that we can continue to have the human voice reflected in the cosmos. Until next time, farewell, humans.